Welcome to another episode of My Junk is Stuff Garage. Place where we go buy old junk and, I don't know, see if it's really junk or not. See if it can be run. See what you can do with it. This show is going to be interesting, or this episode is going to be interesting because something a little different. So far, everything you've seen on this channel, I think, has pretty much been trains. Well, I guess there's a couple of console stereo videos, but so far a lot of trains. And what we've got this time, I went out and found a 1972 or 3 Tyco Pro International Racing number 8105 set. And why that set? Well, it's near and dear to me because that's a set that I received when I was a little kid for Christmas. So that's why I got that set. So it's not, and what you'll see throughout the videos, you'll realize that, you know, these cars, they're not the fastest, they're not the best, they're not the most robust, the track's not the most solid. There's all kinds of issues with these race sets, specifically the Tyco Pro. And, you know, from breaking track tabs to pickup wiper and wear and so forth, and just all kinds of neat stuff. So, and I don't think Tyco was the only manufacturer that had fun like that. I think they all did, otherwise they never would have made any production changes. So, you know, step in and take a ride and see what you see. You might like something there. Hopefully it'll be entertaining. Again, I chose to do this one just because I like the race set. I will say this, one thing I did learn the hard way is that it's actually pretty hard to put something together that's coherent, and I'm not sure this is going to be coherent, but it's hard to put something together to be coherent with regards to slot cars, and I don't seem to see very many slot car videos on YouTube. I know there's a few, obviously, but there's not a whole lot. You look Tyco Pro up and you won't see that much, so not like trains by any stretch of the imagination. So this doesn't mean I'm going to go do 50 videos on slot cars. Just this one. There might be a couple more. I've got a 1/32 Revell from 1965, and I got some Eldon slot cars. So you never know. There might be some more, but just hopefully you enjoy. Oh man, what do we have here? What do we have here? Got us a box. Let's see what we got. Any ideas? Well, I see some egg cartons. I don't know what those are for. Oh, looky there. Looky there. Looky there. I just maneuvered that thing right out of the way. Oh man, look at that. 1972-73, number 8105, Tyco Pro International Racing set. What, 23.5 feet of track, something like that? Got some cobblestones, got some, you know, stuff on the sides there, transformer, a couple cars. So, why? I'm a train guy. Why would I get this? This was my first slot car set. Not this particular, this exact set, physical set, but an 8105 was found under my tree, I believe, in the Christmas of 1972, so 72, 73. So it's near and dear to my heart. Well, let's see what's in here. Box is a little gnarly, but you know, it's 50 years old. Oh boy. Well, there's the where the cars would have resided. Let's see. Sometimes unpacking is hard, and I haven't already unpacked this, so you're seeing this for the first time. Oh boy. Oh, so that looks like some piers, some bridge piers. Man, that's a lot of junk. So we've got bridge piers. Try and do this where you can see it. That feels like that's some more bridge piers. Let's see, try and do this quickly so you don't get bored. And there's some more bridge piers. That seems like more bridge piers than the set should have had. What do we got here? Controller. So there's one of the controllers. I'm guessing that's the other controller. There you go. Numero 20. What's in there? That's taking up space. That's taking up more space. That seems to be taking up some space. This I'm pretty sure would be the transformer. Small little guy. Alright. Man, we're getting all kinds of stuff. Got lots of bags. That's good though. I got dogs. Gotta take them for walks, you know. Good to have those bags. So here we got some track. Bunch of curved track. Doesn't look like any of them are broken. Oh, there's a broke one, missing a peg. So that's okay. You get that. That's why they give you these little guys. When you got broken clips on your track, they give you these to stick them together with. All right. So this is probably the straight track. Bunch of straight track, right? And we've got some guardrails. That's about it, right? Oh, wait. Usually, for slot car sets, there's hopefully some cars. Let's see it. That bag's empty. It's the last bag. What are we going to find? Are we going to find anything? Oh, we do have a car or two. And these are some nice cars. Looky there. Mercedes C111 and the funny bug, the funny VW. And look at that. I'll be honest with you. I look at these every once in a while on the bay, and I've not seen the funny VW very much. Now it does look like it's missing the, say it's missing the glass, but it might be down inside there. And then the C111, that's kind of a nice looking car too. So these are both brass pans, and I think so the first ones were black pans, then you had brass pan with wipers, and then you had brass pan with these, what they call the push buttons for the pickups, push buttons here. So I'm thinking, so my original set was brass pan wipers, and so this is probably the year after. And my two cars were different. I had the AP Corvette, and I had a yellow McLaren. And well, I'll make another video, and we'll see if I actually might have those as well now. But anyway, so here's what I got. So let's do a little cleaning up and see what we can do with these. Now, of course, these tires are in bad shape, but we'll see if we can make these run, and then I'll get some new tires and see what we can do. And this is going to be a lot of fun. So I cut the video off a little quick there before. This set came with a few papers. They were down at the bottom of the box. First one is this nice little authorized service dealers, which of course is worthless now, but it's interesting to look at. So there's that, and then there's this general information guide. Basically tells you how to set your track up, where to put the wires at, and how to clip things together. Some operating instructions, those are handy. Looks like it was folded the wrong way. There you go, shows you how to put things together. And then you get a little bit of troubleshooting over here on the other side. It's funny how the troubleshooting is always the last page, right? Oh, we never have any problems with our stuff, right? So anyway, so there's that. So that's pretty cool. And then there was the catalog for that year. Actually, I have another one of these already, but so gives you some of the stuff that was available during that time frame. So interestingly, the two cars that came in this set do not seem to be depicted in the particular catalog that was included with the set. Man, how many guys would just love to have that merchandise counter thing with all those little, you know, and how many of us remember how these cars came originally, right, when they were individually sold, kind of like Matchbox cars. These and the AFX cars are the same way. They came in these little, whatever, blister packages or whatever. But I remember when I was a kid seeing these sitting on the shelves at either the hobby shop or department store in the toy section and so forth, you know, back behind the counter, of course, because they're the slot cars. But yeah, gosh, really cool stuff. I know it's silly, but I really dig these things. And of course, this being a 73, 74, you start to see the you know, bicentennial stuff happening, right? So of course they had it with trains. Tyco also did it with their slot cars. In this catalog, there's 4 different slot cars that are you know, Spirit of America colors. I mean, so what could be cooler than that? So really good stuff here. So let's see, I've also got a couple of, looks like I've got 3 other catalogs. So real quick, I'll go through those, and since we're talking about slot cars, I'll look at the slot car stuff, except for that cool road and rail set. That would have been a cool set to have as a kid. And I say that even though I'm a Lionel nut, so okay, so there's my set in this particular catalog, right? And actually, that's one of the cars that I had. The second car was the yellow McLaren. I think, let's see. I'll scroll back here. Scroll. That's funny. Okay, there's the McLaren I had, and there's the Corvette. Those 2 cars came in my original set. But you'll see, man, there's a bunch of other cool cars. Here's the Mercedes C111. It came in this set that I just opened up. And here's the funny VW. Let me get the light just right there so you can actually see it. And that is a cool freaking car. And I might have a few others of these cars. So I think my problem is the place that the little container that I have those cars in is kind of buried out in the garage right now. So I'm embarrassed to say that, but I've got to go get that. Here's an 1 year earlier catalog, and you see some of the same cars with different paint schemes. So the AP Corvette is silver. There's a different McLaren, so an earlier. The funny VW doesn't have the engine on the hood on there, and it's painted yellow. You see some of the chaparrals, the American cars, the Trick Mustang and Trick Camaro and so forth. You see a Lamborghini Miura. So really super cool stuff. And then I'm not sure if I can open this other one up without causing myself some problems. Maybe I'll just do it this way. This one's a foldy-loo, but I think this is same kind of time frame, got the same cars in it. Yeah, probably the same thing, but it's a little follow in it. I bet you this is probably what came in the individual when you bought the car in the blister pack. I'll bet you this little folded up catalog is probably what came with the car. So I'm really happy to have that. So I've bored you enough here. So the next steps is getting the track cleaned up a little bit, maybe trying to do a little service on those cars. And actually I got 2 courses of action, right, because both those cars are missing tires. I've either got to suck it up and buy some new tires and wait for them to come in, or if I can dig my crap out of the garage upstairs, we'll see if I'm lucky and have enough tires to put on these cars that are good enough to, you know, run on for a little bit. I think the real answer is that I need to suck it up and pull the wallet out and buy a few tires. So all right, so anyway, I just wanted to show you the paper that came with and the catalogs so you can get an idea. And so keep in mind, I guess, this I call it an era of Tyco Pro. This is pre-magnet traction for Tyco Pro. Interestingly, AFX I think came out with their magnet traction cars right about this time, and so it might have put Tyco a little bit behind the 8 ball. So I want to say a couple of years later, maybe 76, 77, 78, Tyco came out with their 440, HP 440 or whatever cars, and I think those were the first Tyco cars that had magnets in them. So my childhood was non-magnet traction. It was brass pans and all these kind of stuff. So I kind of, there ain't nothing wrong with the magnet traction cars because they really move a lot faster than you can make these cars move. But these cars are still fun. You do a lot of drifting and stuff with them, and still have a lot of fun with them. So, but they're just what I kind of gravitate towards because they're what I had when I was a kid. So, well, that's my lucky day. I managed to get into that tight spot out in the garage and fish out this plastic case that was half full of slot cars and half full of Hot Wheels, not break anything myself or anything else. So anyway, it's kind of funny. I guess I had a few more of these than I thought I had, but at the same time, you ever get that feeling where you remember a few other ones that don't seem to be there? So it makes me wonder if I've got some more stored somewhere else. So you see, the Corvette and the McLaren were actually the 2 cars that came in my original Tyco Pro set back in whatever that Christmas of 72, 73. Like I said, they were brass pan, wipers. I just got this Corvette shell. I've got to find another chassis for it. You know, it's kind of funny. It seems like even over the last couple of years, even these Tyco Pros have just shot up in price. Where even a derelict chassis, $25 or something like that, and like, man, I used to pick them up for, you know, a handful of them for $5 or $10, and makes me wish I'd A, bought more of them, and B, kept more of them. So you can see I've got quite a few of the Porsche 908s, these silver ones. Now there was a few other color sets that I don't have. There's my Porsche 917, the Gulf colors. Now it's a buttons car. This 908's a buttons car. Got this nice Datsun 280Z. It's a buttons car. Now, of course, you can switch the shells around, but you it makes sense to keep, you know, if a particular paint scheme on a shell is made in 1973 or 4 and it should have been a buttons car, it makes sense to keep it a buttons car. At least that's the way I look at it. I mean, there's no right or wrong, just, you know, whatever. And I just recently, last week, picked up these 3 cars, these 2 Spirit of America One's a Chaparral and the other's a 908 chassis. And then the Trick Camaro, and of course they're missing chassis too, so have to find some chassis for them. There's my two newest cars that came with this set. And boy, I'm telling you, that log looks good. There's the Mercedes C111. There's the other yellow McLaren. This one's a little ratty. I need to see. So that's what a black pan looks like. I should flip these over and show black pan. There you go. So you've got a black pan. That was the first year or two. Then brass pan with brushes, and then the middle one is the brass pan with the buttons. Okay. So these set back right, so I don't do any damage. So you can see I'm missing parts, right? I mean, it's always the case with these slot cars. I mean, they're beat to crap. Missing the wing there, missing the roll bar on the Corvette. A couple more. Looks like I'm missing 3 or 4 Chaparral wings. Got a couple of AFX cars sitting over here. This one's a Ferrari 612 and then another Porsche 917. And I swear somewhere I've got a Tyco Pro red Ferrari 512 S or M or whatever the heck they call it. That's got to be around somewhere. I don't want to have lost that. I'll be sad. One of my favorites that I've had for a while is this lime green Lamborghini Miura. Those are, I get the impression they're a little tough to get. So I'm happy to have that one. I try and, whenever I've run that in the past, I've been real gentle with that one. And I'll probably be fairly careful with these two as well. I mean, if you've got some that's already got some chips in them and stuff, you're not too worried about it. But I mean, you know, you take a car that's almost mint, you break a wing in half, you start chipping the, you know, the whatever, all the pieces off of them and stuff. You kind of feel like a fool, especially if you purchased it as a really nice complete car and then you're going to go and tear it up. So hopefully I won't be doing any of that. So those are what I got. So I'm going to start. I'm going to clean this track up a little bit and put her together and see what we can do. All right, I'm not sure how this is going to work out, but I thought it might be entertaining to at least add a quick little blurb here about the difference in these first couple of chassis. Again, I'm not talking about the Tyco S, you know, in the middle 60s to the late 60s, just talking specifically about the early Tyco Pros, so black pan, brass pan, and then brass pan buttons. And that's before the HP 440 stuff. So the first one is the black pan. So looks like this. You can see the black pan, Tyco Pro. So it's a metal pan, and this is the Tyco specific HT50 motor. Now I forget who the manufacturer of this motor is, but you can see this little there's an arm, and it's on a pin, so it can kind of go up and down. It floats, and it has that little round thing that looks like a wheel is actually a weight, a metal weight, and that's supposed to keep that arm down. And what it floats on is the spring tension of the brushes. Now these brushes on my Lamborghini are just gone, you know, I can say gone daddy gone. And so usually the bad things about these cars after 50 years, think about that, these are 50 years old, and this isn't modern ABS plastic stuff. This is, you know, even in the 70s, plastics that were used in toys weren't always the greatest. So these rubber tires, usually the front wheels are always toast. The rear wheels are pretty screwed up as well most of the time. So, but I guess to keep it simple though, that's pretty much all there is to it. You got a plastic gear on the back of the HT50 motor, and a crown wheel on the axle, and just a single straight axle, 2 plastic hubs. They look the same for all 3 of these chassis, as do the front wheels. And the front wheels just ride on plastic pins on the chassis. So that's a black pan, Tyco Pro. Then here's what's called the brass pan with brushes. So the pan is just brass. Now the design of the pickup has changed in this time frame. So you can see how on the black pan it floated. Now that piece that it floated on was plastic, so I imagine that they probably broke. And so one of the improvements in the brass pan was you can see that instead of floating on a plastic hinge, it actually, the brass pan itself has a recessed portion that the brush assembly can float in itself. And so that was probably a product improvement after a bunch of failures. Now I haven't raced these very much or run them very much, but I haven't ever broken a black pan, but I'm sure that's probably, being an engineer, that makes sense. That's probably what's going on. So they put a bigger weight on the front of these for the brass pan with brushes, but otherwise you got the same HT50 motor, same bevel and crown gear in the back for the differential straight axle. You got what they call the white boots now, and still the standard wiper brushes. They work pretty good. So then the next little change is what's called brass pans with buttons. And so the brass pan stays the same, and I suspect that what I can see is that the wipers wear out really quickly. Because I honestly, that Lamborghini, the brushes on that, I really didn't run that probably 20 minutes or something, all told, all put together over the last 20 years, and those brushes just look like you drug them down the highway for a while. So the brass pan with these, I'm not sure if I can, okay, there we go. Trying to hope that stays in focus. So there you can see it's basically like a tall rivet, the button, and there is a spring underneath, well, between the head of the button on the bottom and between the pickup, and so that keeps the button down, or it's supposed to. The things that I notice about the buttons is they don't slide real well over track joints, and so on the ups and the downs and the curves, if you've got any kind of a track joint thing, that button will catch it, whereas the brass, the brushes, the wipers don't. So that's a negative to the buttons in my view. Yeah. All right. Well, the next thing we're going to look at there is I'm gonna just jump right over to the assembled track, right? Because I spent hours, literally hours, cleaning the track. I've had the Bright Boys in the past, but I just used like 300 grit sandpaper and a block on the top of those rails and polished those, and then I had to use a Scotch-Brite pad on the little pins on the end of the track pieces. Then isopropyl alcohol and cleaned all of that over and over and over. Then I had to go find some extra track pieces because I got a few other sets. This isn't the only Tyco Pro set I've got, but find a few other track pieces because there were several broken tabs on the track. Actually, I apologize. I don't think I've got a picture showing what the tabs look like on these. I'll try and throw a still in. Yeah, so I'm just skipping right to the track being assembled. So enjoy. There was a fair bit of work that went into that as well, and I do apologize. You may hate me if you're trying to view it on your phone, because I know you can see the cars running on your phone, but they'll look better on your on a laptop or something like that, just because it was really screwy trying to get the whole track in the view of the camera. I'm more in. It's been a few weeks since I stayed in the Holiday Inn Express, so I guess I need to catch up. So, all right, enjoy. And testing the other side out with the red controller, so I can keep up with it. Same car. I think my main problems are I did lube the motor, the HT50 motor, up a little bit. Main problems are I got junk tires, right? I got rock hard tires on the front, and my rear tires, even the best of the rear tires I have, are 8,000 years old, so they're like pretty much junk. And actually, I stole the pan that the VW is on right now. Is actually not a buttons pan, but a flapper pan, and that's because the buttons pans, I'm going to need to do some serious cleaning on them, because we've got continuity problems with the buttons and the springs and the buttons, which I didn't expect, but anyway, so at least that's oh man, that's not that great. So definitely need to do some work on these cars. And I guess the other thing I would say that I realized over time is that I think the biggest drawback with these early Tyco Pro sets, and it's probably the reason that they switched the track tabs after a couple of years, track tabs on these things suck. I mean, you can snap a track tab off if you burp or if you sneeze, you know, just in the room even. So, and there's a reason they give you those little metal clips to put under the track for the track tabs replacement. But yeah, that's the problem. I had to actually steal track from another set to set this up. And the other interesting thing is, you see I've got some of the flags up. I think what I might do in the future is get some wire and just cut some wire of the same diameter of the plastic flag stands, and that might be an easier thing. The wire will be a little more hardy and robust, and print out some new flags and put on there. So I think that'd be pretty good too. So anyway, here I'll run around the porches a little bit and see how they do. In the same spot. It's kind of hard to run both cars by yourself. Maybe I should say it's kind of hard if you haven't done it in a long time or ever. That's pretty cool. Oh, she rolled. She rolled. Oh, pushed him right off. Just like Von Tripp's Davis. Of course, that was an RSK Spider, not a 908. Oh no, what do we got going on now? There you go. And here is what I was doing to try and clean these up real quick. Not sure how this is going to show. Try to So I would go over with a little bit with some sandpaper on the bottom of the button. Hard part is you got to be a little careful because they're kind of delicate. Delicate. Then I would take the magic green Scotch-Brite. This stuff is good for everything on earth, practically. Oh, I can do it this way. What do you know? And then I would take, it's probably going to be hard for you to see. I would take and push the button down, and then I would do this with it carefully. And I would do that quite a lot on both buttons. Spin them so you can see you get some shiny in there. And when you have it pressed down like that, you're getting a little bit of the spring. Now it's easy, you're going to say, well, you're only getting the outside of the spring and you're not getting the surfaces that rub together and yada yada yada. You're right, but then you go up and you hold it up and you do the top there, and again, this is kind of hard because I'm trying to look through my phone and do this. Gotta holding it with my third hand, which is a wood stick stuck in a 4-inch vise on my table. And so anyway, 5 or 10 minutes of screwing around with that, and I was able to get those clean enough that they'll work. So that all they are is a simple little white wire going to a brass or copper brush tab that sticks in the motor. So they're easy to change. And then when I was earling, what I did was I got a little earl on my toothpicks, and I would go down and put that there, and put a little bit of that right there on the tip of the motor shaft. And so that's basically what I was doing. And frankly, that's not by any stretch of the imagination. That's not a very thorough cleaning job, but that got those cars from being completely dead when you put them on the track to running halfway decent. I mean, what I think I really would like to do is take a couple of these all the way apart, and do some, it'd be nice if I had an ultrasonic cleaner. That might be a purchase here in the near future. But do some cleaning on all these components and so forth, and I think these would run really good. So anyway, just thought you'd like to see see the differences in the pans and see what I did to clean the cars up a little bit real quick. There we go. Just walk the bug out. Okay, here we go again. 2 orange cars. Oops. Oh my God. California king goes off the cliff. Oh.